So she's also well knowledgeable. She just seems like she always has the answer, to be honest with you. So you guys get a lot of good questions, Q&A in her as well. And then I have someone that's my new favorite person.
Wait, I thought I was here.
Yeah, everybody got stages. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got stages, right?
To the stage.
Yeah, we rocked the kids together yesterday, so that was dope. So basically, Tressa Azarella Smallwood is, I just recently got to know her, and I'm just blown away with her success. So she's actually she wrote books, she's a big black publisher, she has turned a lot of her stories into movies, and she's extremely successful doing it. She has already distribution contracts with a bunch of platforms, and I'm just thrilled to have her here, you know what I'm saying? So, Tressa, can you please tell me a little about yourself?
Yes, hello everyone. Oh, wait a minute, wait up, let me try it again. Hello everybody. Hello. Yes. Okay, so I'm Tressa Azarella Smallwood. I am a producer and the CEO of Megamind Media, which is an American film and television production company. When I started out, like Marco said, my very first movie that I was able to do was from a book to film adaptation, and that was in 2015. And it was so challenging for me because I didn't know what I was doing at all. I ended up bringing Jamal Hill, who Marco actually has on the agenda this weekend as well. He came to be with me for 60 days and just literally moved to DC for that time period. And he brought all of his friends. And I was just in a learning phase at that time. And then after we shot that movie, I ended up getting a deal with BET. And from there, things just escalated pretty quickly to the point now where I have distribution partners with a lot of these platforms like the BETs, the Tubies, etc., where I can now help other filmmakers who were once in my, I was there in 2015 where I didn't know anybody, didn't know how to get distribution. And so, for me, I really use my time now working with filmmakers, just trying to make sure they understand all of the ways to exploit their films and monetize them, because that's what it's all about. We take our passion and we're like, we want to do this because we love it, but why not get paid doing what you love?
All right, perfect. So, what I want to do is, the first question I want to ask is to Joanne, right? I want to ask you, Joanne, what do you think is the best first steps that a filmmaker should do when getting ready to shoot their film, with thinking about distribution in mind?
Well, there are a couple of things that I think about. One is that there are certain genres that are more likely to sell than others. What's the genre everybody knows that can sell easily?
Action. Horror. Action.
Okay, it's horror. This is the accent you're supposed to give. So there are some other genres that will sell if you don't have names, if you don't have famous people in your films. So those genres are horror, thriller, faith-based, documentary, and I'm missing one. This is so funny because I talk about this all the time. Faith-based, horror, thriller,
True crime,
documentary, and thriller I'm counting as true crime. I can't believe that I've forgotten my fifth one because I talk about this all the time.
It's really, you really covered it all, because the only other one is really like the crime
Oh,
projects.
sorry, family, which means children's films. So if you don't have stars and you make a genre like that, you can come to me and I can sell that film so long as the production values are good enough. And usually when I present that to filmmakers, they're like, oh, wait a minute. I have a number of clients who are like, oh, you mean I can make a faith-based film and there's an audience to that? Oh, but that's what I always wanted to do. I thought I had to build to that. So there are certain genres that you can sell with no big names in them, and then because of platforms like Tubi we've been talking about already, there's a lot now. What we're seeing is a lot of monetization coming towards underserved audiences. So African American audiences, LGBT audiences are doing really well on AVOD, which is advertising supported video on demand. So I would suggest for a filmmaker making their first feature film to pick a genre that sells. And so that you know before you make your film that you can sell that film. And if you don't fit in there, like if you're one of the people who's like, I can only do comedy, that's what I do, then you know, we can look at a different business model. I also like my clients to raise the money to make their films before they make them, so that they're not going to be broke if they don't sell. But there really are genres that will sell. Any of the genres will sell.
So basically you're saying, okay, so you don't have the main characters. You're selling the category, right? So like for instance, I mean, with faith-based, you know, you're selling God, right? You're selling, you know, the fact that people are into that, right? That, you know, God.
So it'd be Christian God.
Right. Okay. What I'm saying, well, you said what?
So there's only Christian God.
Well, you know, right.
That will change, I think, over time. But right now, there's a Christian audience that's the
Well,
people.
that leads to cool with it because I know that, like, for instance, I know a lot of people, you know, like say like the Muslim religion, right? I don't see a lot of films, say, with the Muslim faith here, especially to the American Muslim faith. You know what I'm saying? You don't see a lot of that. So somebody might make a movie,
Underserved audience.
and it might kill right now, right? And then it might just be something that's right underneath our nose we're not even thinking about, right? So I say that to say, I mean, you know, of course, categories. So that also leads into my next question, which I wanted to ask Tressa is, okay, so currently right now, with what you're seeing in the current atmosphere, what do you think, like say for like a new up-and-coming filmmaker who's making their first film, where are some of the platforms they can monetize it? It doesn't get picked up by Netflix or a major studio or major platform.
Yeah, so you have a couple of options, and you typically want to rank where you start and do those options in phases so that you're not crowding the market in one particular area at a time. So if I were a new filmmaker right now, and I did get picked up by a streaming entity or a linear platform, which would be like a Starz or HBO, platforms like that, I would go to Amazon Prime because there's a lot of money to be made there, but you have to put forth the marketing. You gotta have a marketing budget. And then, like you said, you mentioned Tubi, there's Peacock, there's Crackle, there are all these AVOD, and AVOD stands for advertising video on demand, which means you don't get any money unless somebody watches. But you also don't have to pull any money out of your pocket in the very beginning. So it's a safe place where if you have a good film and you don't have a lot of money or funding to make things happen, it's a platform where you can say, I'm going to put my stuff on here, I'm going to create some type of marketing plan, and I'm not pulling any money out of my pocket in the beginning, and I'm just going to benefit off of the ads. It's a very lucrative model that a lot of filmmakers are working through. So I think that and the TBOD, which is the Amazon, TBOD stands for transaction. Every time somebody makes a transaction one time, that is really big. If you have any names, then you can get some SVOD opportunities. So SVOD stands for subscription video on demand, which is, subscriptions. We all have subscriptions, right? What do y'all have? Just start naming. You have BT Plus, Disney. What do you have? Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. They get all out of me, right? Yeah, every month I know I subscribe to at least 6 or 7 of them, and I'm just watching. But those are all the platforms that you can get a shot if you have a little bit more name attraction.
So my audience, they want to know what kind of money you're looking like, right? So like for instance, you got movies that, you have some movies that are probably extremely successful on AVODs, TVODs, and then you have some that might not be as successful, right? So say I'm one of the not so successful movies, what's kind of like, say, the low ball that I can at least expect on, say, an AVOD platform?
Monthly, it could be something like $500 a month if it's a really low project, and it could be something like $100,000 a month if you have a really good project, right? And when I say good, doesn't mean the quality of your work, it means marketability. So for me, I have about, out of my or 6 movies on Tubi that are mine alone. And they don't all perform the same. And I can always track it back to, oh, you haven't shown this project right here any love. It's not really doing anything. Versus somebody who is actively every day, blood, sweat, and tears, making sure you're getting eyeballs on these projects and driving traffic. It makes a difference. And I don't know, I'm gonna throw it to Rich, I don't know what he wants to share, but if
You know, I share.
yeah, if you're gonna just talk about your success over there, they will be blown away. But we can also say that that's not the norm. But they put in the work.
No, for sure. Don't sleep on that Tubi, y'all. I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did. Tressa was on me. We was having a conversation, and she was like, she been on us like, yo, y'all gotta do Tubi. Y'all gotta do Tubi. I'm like, Tressa, Tubi? You know, you hear Tubi like Tubi. So I'm like, I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it, because I know Tressa ain't gonna steer me in the wrong direction. But I was so focused on what I had going on with the part 2. You know, it's my second movie. I'm like, I'm dialed in and promoting that. And then Tressa hit me like, yo, these, it was like only like a week.
1 week.
1 week. And she hit me like, yo, this is the numbers we doing on Tubi, and it was like at 100,000. I'm like, I didn't even like, and for me, marketing is everything. You know, when I get into something, I gotta know.
Can I just make sure everybody heard what you said?
Yeah, no. Yeah, like that's for me. Like I know who I'm marketing to. That's my main thing. I know my crowd, and I'm not waiting on nothing. If I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. That's why I kind of go so much with our projects through the muscle, is because simply been trying to get a deal for so long, and those doors closing, those doors closing, those doors closing. I got in a position where it was like, with me and my wife, it was like, hey, if you really want to do this and we're going to do this, let's do it. You know what I mean? I got tired of so many people dictating how we want to move and your future and how you should do this. And this can't be done. And that's the fatal one they're going to hit you with. It's normally done this way. Because once you start moving, that's what they use against you. You know what I mean? And I tell people all the time, don't wait till you know everything to do something. Because a lot of time my ignorance is my strength. It's because I don't know no better. I don't know that I'm technically not supposed to be doing what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? So I don't put them restraints and walls on myself. And as young filmmakers, old filmmakers, or wherever you at in your career, don't let nobody put them walls on you.
Real. That's real.
You know what, I just want to add to that too. So, you know, I don't know if you're following Rich or Miyasha, you should. Make sure you're doing that. But they are very intentional about marketing. They are always thinking, what's next? How do we keep our project hot? Versus I work with a lot of other filmmakers who, once they make a little bit of money, they're chilling. And they are no longer promoting their product. And then the numbers start to drop. So it's always it's a constant grind. It's like, hey, do you want to have a project that becomes a classic, right? There's certain movies that all of us watch over and over and over again. Well, we watch those movies because they had time to really make an impact on the community. And we tell our children about them, and then it just goes on, and it never stops. And so in order for your film to get that type of name for itself, you have to be relentless with your marketing, and it will make all the difference in the world.
I just want to go back to something that you said before, Tressa, which was about the difference between thinking about quality and marketability. And so I'm so glad you said it, because I say that all the time, and I'm always feeling as though filmmakers, because they're so idealistic and so passionate, think that I'm saying make shit, and I'm not. It's just that filmmakers are overly focused on thinking, is my film good enough? Instead of, how am I going to market my film? Who am I marketing it to? Who is this film for? Who is the audience for this film? I can't tell you how many of even my clients that I'll get the rough cut of their films, and I'm always talking about the first 2 minutes, the first 3 minutes. I told you a documentary the other day, and it's a very powerful subject. And she has a shot of the fountain then a shot of another fountain. And I'm like, why am I looking at a fountain? What's happening? Where am I? Who am I? Who am I speaking to? And filmmakers are always wanting to do something cool, like having a shot of a fountain, instead of like, where are we? Why are we here? What's going on? You know, and especially in the world of streaming and in the world of our shorter and shorter attention spans, you know, the first 2 or 3 minutes is going to tell me, like, I love thrillers. Give me a dead body, I'm in.
Me too.
Oh my God, I love thrillers, and the more tired I am, the more I want to watch a thriller, you know? So, okay, I'm the perfect thriller audience member. If I don't know it's a thriller in the first 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to look and find something else. I'm sorry, but that's how superficial I am.
Right. And I feel you on that. And I'm going to tell you the reason also I think that, like, say, the reason I think Rich and Beyonce are also booming is because they are the lifestyle.
Oh,
They are a culture, you know. And I think a lot of times if we say, like, we shoot stuff that's real to us, and then we are that gives it like the authenticity that it makes it easy for you to also know your market, know your target. I mean, they really know their audience, and they go right at their audience with every way of doing it, the perfect way with fashion and looks and style and just coolness. They just cool. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, Mark, you make me more nervous. I gotta put my glasses on. I'm a nervous speaker. I really don't do this too much, but you know, whenever Marco calls, I love to come do it because I know you guys, a lot of you guys out there are aspiring filmmakers. You know what I mean? And I know how many hurdles I had to jump over and things I had to do. So any advice or anything I can answer for y'all, you know, I'm here for y'all. It's just not here. If you follow me on social media, DM me. I get back to you as soon as I can. You know what I mean? Whatever you need, I'm in the hallway, see me, stop me. Ask those questions, man. Ask those questions. Don't be afraid. You gotta be the, I heard this from Jamie Foxx. You gotta be the oh shit guy. He said you had to be the oh shit guy. The reason what he was saying is because motherfucker, I'm sorry, when people seen them coming, they would literally be like, oh shit. You know that one person that's gonna come hold you hostage and ask you to be that person, man. You trying to chase your dreams. Ain't no time to be cute. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to this money. Let's get to this dream. Let's get to this money. Remember to be creative and remember that you're creative. And this is also the film business, so just be about your business and be on point. And that's all you can do and go after what you set out to do.
Money means you get to make another film.
Mark, I have a question. So, is it okay for us to just kind of poll the audience so that we know who's here? So, if you already have a finished film, kind of just raise your hand so we can see where you are.
Is that a short?
No feature.
A feature, a finished feature.
So we can do it separately. So raise your hand if you have a finished feature so we can identify. Okay, so a decent amount of people, wonderful. Congratulations, by the way. That's a big deal.
Good job.
So what about the shorts? Raise your hand if you have a completed short. Okay, because there's strategies to each that are different that we can speak to. And then if you are considering doing your first short or feature, raise your hand.
Okay. See ya.
Okay. Yeah, raise them up high though. You like this. Like, yeah, you gotta be confident with it because when you decide to do it, you gotta go all the way. And again, become relentless. Like every obstacle that's put in your way, every challenge that comes, you gotta make it work. And you also have to be bold with your networking and meeting people, right? Because you're gonna need a team of people to help you, whether it's somebody in the art department, somebody on the blame team, somebody. And so you gotta say, hey, I'm producing this movie, I'm a filmmaker, I'm new. Even if you don't know what you're doing. Remember, I was very vocal and very clear with Jamal when I wanted to shoot my first film. I said, hey, I don't really know any of this. I'm a book publisher, but I got some money, we can hire some people, and you got to know how, and you come with me. And I was okay with that. And even today, I meet people all the time. I'll go into a room, and they'll tell me something. I don't sit there and act like, oh, I've been in this business for 8 years, I know everything, I have all these deals. I say, oh, I didn't know that. Enlighten me, tell me, because I didn't know. So So be okay with that.
I want to open up a Q&A. You know what I'm saying? So, does anybody in the crowd have questions? My man, she's going to take you the mic. First question over here.
I'm going to have my cousin saying with me. Well, first, congratulations to all of you. That's amazing. Applause to you all. My first question, well, let me introduce myself. I'm Regina Okarike. My husband, Okarike. We completed our full feature film, Out on Them. And we just want to thank you for allowing us to be here. So thank you for that. And my question is, going through the distribution phase, as you probably know, there's a lot of aggregators, right? So how in the world do we get around that? Because like we saw Big Macs once 2,000, which is reasonable. And then from my understanding, we don't have to go through, other distribution companies and things like that. So when you speak again to the bag, how do you get directly to that bag? Smile.
Basically, I just want to clarify, basically, to get to a company like Tubi without having to go through all the middlemen who want a piece of your hardware.
Well, God just blessed you today because can they stand up for a minute real quick? That's our Tubi rep right here. So Kanae's in charge of screening all of the movies for us because naturally we get bombarded with emails every day and she has to go through and screen them to see, number one, if they'll pass QC, whether, she has a whole checklist, but make sure you connect with her, give her your email, and send her password protected link to you. And we don't charge any upfront fees. I will tell you, we are very different. We're unique. Probably won't find a lot of companies that will not charge you. The reason why we don't is because we've been there, right? I'm a creative. I started out writing books, started doing my first film. I've been in that same situation, so we just don't charge upfront fees. But we also only work with people, we're good with the discernment. It goes outside of business. It becomes spiritual for us. We meet you and we're like, listen, this is what we can do. We can put you in a position to do this, and we just want to work with good people. Also, we're always very honest about what we will not do. A lot of filmmakers will come to us, and because they know that we can put you on BET or TV One or bigger platforms, everybody wants to go there. They're like, no, but what about BET? I want my movie over there. Well, you have to understand, BET will not take films that don't meet certain criteria. They're looking for, again, back to marketability. So they're looking for names. So I just think that whoever you go with, make sure you're looking at them well, their company, look at what those fees are, and read the reviews. Somebody tried to basically charge me $5,000 when I started out as an upfront fee to represent me as a sales agent. And I was like, well, what am I paying for? What can you do? Where are you taking the film? And so because, I was able to just say, I don't want to do that. I'm going to take the route and start going to film festivals. And I want to meet the executives directly. That worked out for me. But obviously, I'm not afraid to go up and, if Marco's an executive, is, hey, how you doing? I had this film. Is there an assistant or somebody that you can give me an email address so I can contact them? Because some filmmakers make the wrong decision and say, hey, I need your number. But most people are not just going to give you your direct number. Right. But if I met Oprah in the elevator right now, I'm not going to ask Oprah for her number. But I am going to find the person. I'm going to ask her, I need to get a meeting with you on your team, with somebody on your team. It's a little bit easier to do. But today, you're covered.
Thank you.
What she's saying is that's probably you're not going to get a direct deal with Tubi off the road, right? She has a relationship because of her success, right? So she's able to do things that will take maybe a couple films to get to, right? But that's a great way to start, maybe, right? You get your first bag, you build a relationship with someone that cares for your career, cares for your best interests, and that's a great way to start. Get your first bag, take that bag, flip it, build more relationship, and as you start getting your weight up and get your brand up, then you can go direct, right? Right.
Marco, you want to touch on that question a little bit? me, and this, I can just give it to you for me. Getting straight to that bag for me was going to Amazon. Amazon blessed us as independent filmmakers with an avenue to direct our traffic to with a company that most people already heard about. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I decided I'm gonna get myself out first. Yeah, it's a 50-50 split, which sometimes going to directly the dick for me was I had the opportunity where I had some people I put in my film that had a name. So I was forced with the situation of, do I start with theaters first, or do I take this route that I had found through Amazon that a lot of people really didn't even know about? You know, so I was like, you know what? It was right during the pandemic, the theaters wasn't doing that great. I said, I know how I market to my people. I directly get to my crowd that I'm going for. So I want to be able to get to them and they be able to get to what I'm giving them right away. You know, I don't want them to have to think, oh, maybe I'll go to the movie theater this weekend or whenever. I want it to be, you heard about it, you can get it right now. So that's why I went to Amazon. And it's the 50-50 split. You know, the reason I did that is I tried to go get a deal first. And the number I was thinking, you know, I was told I was crazy. Yeah, it's not the number. Like, you know, like they were offering me less than what I paid to do the movie. And then they were saying like, that's good. I'm thinking like, y'all crazy. You know what I mean? I'm a hustler. If I spend $1, I want back $2. You know what I'm saying? And if I can't do that, I'll figure it out. So that's when I came across Amazon. This is to your question. I did a 50-50 split. I knew where I was going to direct my people. They told me the number I was asking for, I was supreme. I hit that number in my first month. You know what I'm saying? And that saves a lot of believe in yourself, but that's an avenue for you to get to that bag directly. And then you put yourself in a position where, like Tressa told us about Tubi, we've done other things with Tressa. Her company looked out for us with, which is a blessing. But like I said, she told me about Tubi. My first movie been out almost a year and a half. In a month, no marketing, no nothing. Come back and do almost $200,000 in a month on Tubi, and I did nothing with it. You know what I mean? I barely just saw that it was up there because I was so focused on what else I had going on. But all I have to say is that's how you get straight to that bag. Make yourself hot, make you some money, and then you're able to go to other companies like Tressa or other people and tell them, look, this is what my film has done on my own. Can we partner up and work together? And it's always good to be open to give that percentage if it's the right relationship. You know, the woman's not asking for nothing up front, so that shows that they're willing to show you what they can do if you believe in your project as much as you present to them. You know what I mean?
Now, I agree, because that's like getting, you rather have half of the water than half of the grape.
Yeah, 100%. It's nothing wrong with group economics.
I do want to say though, no distributor or international sales agent should be charging anything up front. Ever, never, do not pay that. So just to be clear about that.
And it's a lot of that out there. That's why when she said that she saw somebody, and you named a couple of companies that I know about here, that they're charging you. But, that's because it's kind of like, hey, let's just get as many people to give us $2,000 and whatever happens after that, we don't really care, right? And those are not really companies that you really want to be with if you're growing as a filmmaker. Because your job is make one film, monetize it, go back, make another film, and eventually you can go and get a relationship with a network that will believe, like even when I started, I think it took me my 5th film, I started getting overall deals and offers from networks saying, hey, we need you to partner with us. And so now, I still make movies where I fund them totally on my own just because I want to be 100% in control, but also networks now give me money to make films. But I'm only in that position because I bet on myself and I said, let me just show you first. So that's your job right now, to show somebody, right? Whether it's a short, whether it's a feature, Do it once, make it make sense, go do it over and over again, because that shows that you're really creative.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a well planned.
And I love that y'all are husband and wife. You gotta keep it in the family. You heard that, Rich and Miyasha. Miyasha, where are you? I can't see you. Yes. So this is Miyasha, the writer and executive producer of Secret Society. Miyasha is Rich's wife, so they obviously do this together. My entire family is with me for Makeup and Media, from my sister, who is my lead makeup artist, to my cousin, who is a CPA. Like, everybody in my family, they are involved in this business. And so when I see couples and families doing this together, it makes me smile.
Hello everyone, thank you so much. I'm just happy that you guys are able to put this together. I'm going to echo off with her. Congratulations with all of you guys' success. One of the things that we're always hearing is marketing, right? We know that you have to market it. But I guess my question is, what are the marketing tools? What are some ideas, creative things when it comes down to marketing that you have to do?
Yeah, it's a really wide variety of things. You can start extremely small with running some basic Facebook ads, right? You run an ad for $250, that can be very impactful. All the way up to Rich. Typically, Rich, they spend money on marketing. So Rich, you want to share some of the bigger ticket items or things that you've done?
For me, is just knowing what's hot and who's hot. And you know that. Because you're on social media, you're following the people that you follow, and then you know who's your target market is. So, definitely, if you know you got a crazy trailer, I would say definitely some social media ads. I want to say 99% of my marketing through social media. You know what I mean? I know who I'm going after. I know who I want. I want a quick response, and I ain't coming to play. I'm trying to make what I need to make. I got goals every month I'm trying to hit. So for me, it's targeting people who have a following that's directly the market I'm trying to speak to. You know what I mean? And a lot of those times when people want money, so if you're on a limited budget, sometimes you can talk to them, but just do come with some kind of budget. And they'll work with you. And that seems to be the best way that works for me. Is social media marketing, going after the people that I know, who has the market that I'm trying to target.
And if you can afford a publicist who has a proven publicist, because publicists out there will pitch themselves as well, but you need to make sure that they can get you into the right room. So anytime that you have any names in your project, hiring a publicist will make sense, because then those people, the talent that you have in the movie, they can get on national TV. They can, so for example, if I have a name in my movie, they need to be on The Real, they need to be on all the hot shows, they need to be on the morning news stations, they need to be on the radio, so then it makes sense to invest in a publicist.
Okay, because currently right now, we do have one movie that's out on Amazon Prime as well as Tubi called Love Until It Hurts. And yes,
what is it called? Say it again.
Love Until It Hurts.
Okay.
Yes. And yes, we see the income that's coming in. We do see that whether it's limited marketing or, you're doing a lot of marketing, but I guess the part of that we're trying to figure out is how you get through that breakthrough of that right marketing. Maybe there's something that we're not touching in order to get the original that you're getting, as far as the revenue, as far as having it on Amazon Prime or having it on Tubi. So I guess that's the reason of my question.
Getting eyes on it. That's the main thing you want to think of. You got your project, you got somewhere for them to go, and people know that platform. It's just getting eyes on it. Find those influencers that you feel like represent your project in the best light, and have them post. Figure it out, and it don't gotta be a huge. If it's you know what the budget is. You know what I mean? It might not be a huge budget. Because my budget, even though independently it seems like it's big money, but to them it's peanuts. So I'm still working deals, working those situations, bartering. you know what I mean, different things, but get those eyes on. I don't care if you got 1,000 followers or you got 1,000,000 followers. So I need you to post my situation. I'm gonna do this, let's do this, let's do that, and get to being, like I said, the old shit guy. You just the old shit guy. You know what I'm saying? But work that out, because that helps build your project. That gets your project out there. You put something out there that's gonna live longer than you.
And I guess that's what's a direct correlation as far as, building your social media page and just doing that grind and just keep on. The more you have influencers, that's where you're going to be able to see it. And I think that's one of the things that we've been seeing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of variables to it as well. Joanne, you let me know what you think. But if you, let's say right now you had 5 movies on the same platform. You said yours is on which platform?
Amazon Prime as well as Tubi.
So let's just say Tubi, for example. Right now, if you had 5 movies on Tubi and made your marketing for each one, they're still not going to perform the same because there's so many variables, right? Sometimes it's, remember in the beginning, Joanne said your first 2 to 3 minutes. So all the movies that are on Tubi, right? And I do this all the time, but obviously I have a Tubi distribution deal, so it's my job to click these movies and see what's happening. I will click the button, 3 minutes will go by, and I'm either excited or I'm like, I go to the next one, right? And so however your movie starts, that could just be the one thing that's not giving you, where, and I'm not saying that's happening because I've never seen your movie, but all of the variables make sense. So one of your movies might be the one that just pops off, right? I told Rich and Yasha one day when I called him, I said, I don't even have any of my own movies that are performing like yours right now. And so I was like, with that marketing, I knew it because they had just, come off of the Secret Society 2 premiere. And so all these people were going to the premieres, posting about part 2. So naturally, people are like, well, where can I watch part 1? So that's one of the reasons that it performed that way as well. So you always have to look at the whole picture. But doing a lot of the things that you're hearing us say, from the building your social media to the marketing like crazy, but sometimes it's just, what is the film? Right? I have a film on Tubi right now called Sinners Wanted, which is a faith-based film. And it has Lamont, Rucker, Clifton Powell, like really some decent names. But it does not perform like some of my other movies. It just doesn't. So you just have to constantly, again, keep creating, and keep marketing.
Is it possible that Tubi is not a faith-based platform?
Most of it is very, very much possible. Yeah. Number one, the Tubi demographics skew younger.
Yeah.
And then they're just not as interested, not as many people coming there right now are interested in faith-based. But on Crackle, which is another AVOD platform, Sinners Wanted is generating a lot of dollars because you all are hearing us talk about Tubi a lot up here, but that's not the only AVOD platform, right? There's Peacock, there's Crackle, there's Pluto, there are all these other platforms.
And every film has its own flavor, and every platform has its own flavor. So when does it
please get the brother back.
Yes.
This brother's on the phone back. I'm sorry, we'll get back to you in 1 second.
No, I'm good, you're good.
Alright, so I'm gonna be that old shit guy. That's why I kept my arm up. I wanted to make sure.
And you see you got the mic, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yo, so basically, I'll just give like a quick introduction. My name is Michael Stover. I'm a graphic designer and a writer, as well as a book publisher as well. I have a couple children's books out. But my question is, I know a lot of people in here are filmmakers. What about the writers? Do you have any ideas or points that new writers can do to present my script to one of you guys to at least read it and take it further, or anybody to read the script and take it further?
I would say that, like most of my clients write their own first films anyway. They want to direct, but they want to write as well. It's actually more producers that you want to find who are going to be looking for your scripts. So, and producers are really hard to find. Producers are real diamonds. This is a producer, that's a producer, Producers of diamonds are very, very rare, and most directors tend to want to write. But there are some platforms where you can put your script and people hopefully will find it. But I think networking in a place like this, a lot of times filmmakers want to go to film festivals. This is a film festival, but this event is much more about business. I only go to festivals that have stuff about business, you know? So this is a fantastic place for you to network and find people. But you really want to find people who want to direct, but are not necessarily interested in writing.
I'm going to take it a step further. I said you shoot it.
That's my answer. Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. If you can shoot it as a feature, go for it. Raise some money and make that happen, or shoot it as a short. I work with writers all the time, and we talk about different strategies of how to get their films done. Some people raise money. I've given them all of the fundraising techniques of how to get to the money. I personally beg all my family and friends. Have been doing that since day one. My very first film that I financed, all family. And after that, obviously because it was successful and they got their money back, every movie that I do now, they're like, hey, when do you need that money? I'm that lady that, you know how Rich is talking about the old shit guy? I'm the lady that calls your house and say, hey, you got $200,000? Like, it's a movie happening next month. And I'm like, did she just ask me for $200,000? Yes, that is me. So you just have to become bold with it, but I'm with you. Shoot it. Shoot it. Create a budget and shoot it.
Our first film that we shot, I had a friend of mine that was writing for like 20-something years, big time writer, like at school. He was a big writer, the films that we shot, right? So then, I asked him to read our script, and he read it. I gave it to him, like, say, November or something. I said, we're gonna shoot this in January. It's like, all right, cool. When I get a chance to read these, I want them to work that way, but I'll read them some notes. So he hit me up around January, and he hit me up and said, yo, Marcus, I got notes for you. And I'm like, that's cool, man, I appreciate it, but we're on set.
Right.
We're on set, yo, we're on set, bro. So we're on set for the movie that's all shooting in January. You know what I mean? We just write like,
Because most people wait, Marco.
Right.
They're waiting for the perfect storm, the right opportunity, the right amount of money, the right situation, and that's not how it works. You're going to either be a go-getter, right, or you're just going to be a talker.
he had over 50 stories, over 50 scripts, you know what I'm saying? That I met up in the film.
I meet people like that all the time,
Yeah.
and I'm going
So-
like, what are you doing?
So-
If I could do it, and I didn't have a background in film at all, never been in film school, didn't know how to do any of that, but just simply believed in myself and was big on execution.
Well, it's not only believing in yourself, which you do, but to me it's about money, So when I work with filmmakers, I'm helping them raise money, because once you raise money, then you can hire the professionals that you need. So I have mostly writer-directors who are my clients, I have producers, I have actors, a lot of actors who decide they want to make a film. And I always start with the money. If we can raise the money, then we can hire all the professionals to put around you who maybe have more experience than you, and you're the beginner, and then that's how you get to learn. But I always start with the money. Let's raise the money, and then make a film.
And I'm gonna go a step further. Then I ran out of money. Right? And I'm on set, realizing I'm about to run out of money. So while I'm producing, I'm out here raising money. So I'm over here selling. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna shoot music videos. We'll give you $15,000 now. Give you a deal. Shoot like 3 music videos for you. We're gonna charge 10 or 15. So I'm just hustling, getting money from everywhere all over the city to keep moving. My team don't even know we're running out of money. They're just still moving, right? So we got to keep moving. Yeah, we got to go moving, right? My credit cards is maxed. I owe a bunch of people a bunch of work, but we shot the movie, right? Shot the movie. Then I had to go pay up with this, that's or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is, like, even like my man Rich said, like, he's like, yo, we want to shoot a movie, we want to go. We went, right? Boom, successful. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's definitely, Joanne's saying the right way to do it. You go, you get your numbers together, get your team together, get your money up, you budget everything, you plan everything. But just don't overplan sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, understand
because no matter what we all say up here, it depends on your personality, right? If you are a go-getter, if you're bold with it, you're going to do just what Rich said. Listen, I'm going to shoot this movie. I need to barter with you. I'm doing it regardless. And then you become Marco on set, like, wait a minute, I got to see this through no matter what. Some people, if you know that you're reserved and you're not going to ask anybody for money, then you can't be as risky in your choices because you're not going to be willing to go all out, right? So you got to know who you are and know your situation. I wasn't that person that needed anybody to be in control of my future. Like, I'm a control freak. So I was like, I'm going to find the money. I'm going to do this myself. I don't want a network telling me what to shoot, how to shoot it. I don't want to answer to them. That worked for me. So you just got to know who you are. And you got to know your financial situation. Some of y'all got a lot of money in the bank. I'm going to be calling y'all at Warren at 200,000 soon.
I think we're going to take some more questions.
Question in the
Those
rear.
hands fall off. Those arms are about to fall off.
Hi everybody. My name is Anishka. I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, and I want to get into acting. So I feel very blessed walking in here because I came here midway because my friend just brought me in, so I feel like it's really meant to be. I want to know, as a singer and a songwriter, how can I sing the music that I write with producers, and also wanting to get into acting, how do I go about, well, I'm in a room now, so I'm in the network, but go about working with, up-and-coming directors and other people that are interested in looking for people to be in films and influencers as well. So.
Well, everybody here is going to come and ask you how they can get your music in their film. And maybe the same answer as well. What about you making a film? How would you feel about that? Or maybe you don't feel like that at this moment, but that would be something for you to think about. I had this client who came to me as an actor, and she said she wanted to make a film, and I said, what's the purpose? And she said, she promoted me, and I said, great. And she gave me this script that was 4 people, and it was silent. I said, no. So she rewrote the script, so she's the star. There's one other character, doesn't say anything. And it's a short film. Every single festival she enters it wins something. Best comedy, best actor, best film, best director, best something. Every single festival. And, it's just that, I think I saw you earlier taking posting this up. I think you know how to promote yourself. But film is a fantastic way for you to promote your work and get people to see your work. I'd love to see you in a film.
And I would say, reach out to your local casting directors. Casting agents, if you're trying to be in the acting part of it, and reach out. I keep telling you, I'm social media. Reach out on Instagram. A lot of people reach out to us, and I use a lot of independent artists who reached out to me. You know what I'm saying? So, don't be afraid to shoot your shot. You know what I'm saying? Is no if you don't. So, shoot your shot, put yourself out there, be where the filmmakers are, and let them know, like you just let us know, this is what I'm trying to do, this is me, I'm dope, check me out. You know what I mean? And see what comes from that. Because our lead actress, Raina Love, she reached out, and my wife found her actually through social media. She didn't really have too much experience, and but my wife seen something in her, and she believed in her. And I have a Hollywood director who does my movies. He doesn't play none of that. You know what I mean? He needs you to have a portfolio. You need to be able to see auditions. You need to be able to see all that. But when my wife fighting for her, she seen something in her. When she reached out, and we didn't quite see it at the time. And then we asked her to send her. She hates when I tell the story. We asked her to send her an audition tape. She did it in her garage. I don't know if it was a Category 7 hurricane going on in the midst of everything, but she did it, and then, we weren't sold, but having somebody believe in her, they kept on us like, no, give her another shot. Let's see. And she ended up getting the role, nailing it, and she's off to the races from there, you know what I mean? She's a beautiful young lady. She's amazing, carries the film both times, both in both films. So just by putting herself somebody may see something in you that you don't even know is rooting for you behind the scenes, and that can help push you further with what you're trying to do.
Also, producers don't really get much limelight, you know? It's usually directors, next writers, and actors. So producers don't get much airtime. You know, I'm always talking about that. Nobody's interested in the producers. You know, we're behind the scenes. But, you know, I have clients shooting a feature film in South Carolina right now, faith-based feature film. You know, a documentary I just got last week, another film next week, 2 films going into distribution next month. You know, it's like 100 films. So it's actually producers that you want to talk to. They're the ones who have a bank of directors, you know, a whole group of films being made. And so you can meet them in places like this that don't exist very much.
Dropping juice. Did y'all hear that Brother Rich said, if you don't, it's no. We have a question in the rear.
Hello, how are you? Congratulations to everyone. My name is Maria Rambo. I created and built my own platform that's similar to 2B and BET Plus. We're getting ready to launch in a couple of weeks. So I'm constantly looking for content, filmmakers, you know, so forth and so on, all kinds of content. But my biggest question is just starting out as an independent, because I own 100% of my platform, starting out as an independent platform owner. What are some of the things you wish, when you first started, from a filmmaker's perspective, other platforms that you submitted to would have done? How could they have helped you, so that I know some of the things I can avoid doing, you know, to deter or what have you, up-and-coming filmmakers?
I have a question before we can answer that. Is this, what type of platform is it? Is it a SBA? Like, do we need to pay you a monthly fee to use
No, there's no upfront fee.
So how do filmmakers get paid?
It's an AR. So whatever, when we run traffic through, the filmmakers get a percentage of whatever is paid.
Okay, so when you're, I think the first thing is when you're talking to filmmakers, don't use the word BET or any of those platforms, because it's not the same. So you can say, hey, I have a platform very similar to Pluto, Crackle, Tubi, where you get paid off of the ads, right? So that would be number one, so that they know. Filmmakers, if they've done their research, they know that they're not going to get any money until those ads come through. So some of the things that I think you can do to make your platform a little bit more favorable is to give them some idea of the type of advertisers that you have that are going to be running ads through your platform, because that will determine whether you're a good fit for them or not, right? Because the reality is, nowadays it's pretty easy to get on any of these AVOD platforms. So if they are your competition, you've got to offer them something that is going to be better than that. Maybe it's your one-on-one service and the way you hold their hand and you know, talk them through, and maybe you are more knowledgeable than they are. Like you've got to come up with what your advantage is going to be, because there's too much money that people can make on these other AVOD platforms. So you got to come up with something different. Maybe have a meet and greet, and they coming in and you're sitting down and you're like, now let me see what else I can help you with. I'm going to help you with your marketing. Maybe you're going to pay for their poster art, but you got to figure out what's going to be your advantage, because the competition is really thick in that arena.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, my name is Angelina. I have a quick question about episodic distribution. Are there platforms that are better than others, or even possible about monetizing series? Are there short form, like web series that are 5-10 minutes an episode, or do they need to be full length 25-30 minute episodes? Do you have any insight on episodic distribution?
To me, this is the question that I hear now all the time. So in the olden days, it used to be, how do I get my film into Sundance? Then it became, how do I get my film on Netflix? Now it is, how do I make a series and get distribution? I don't believe in it as a business model that's going to work. I actually have a client right now who just made a feature film, and got it on one platform as a feature film, and then on another platform they broke it up into a series. So I'm fascinated by this because I've never heard of that before, but I think what we're seeing so many fantastic series on the big streamers that have big production budgets, and so we think, oh, we can do that. But the truth is, really, the entry to business is a feature film. And there are not buyers that buy series by independent producers, and of course there's always something to break this rule that I'm saying, but there are no buyers for independently produced series, and it's just not something that I would really encourage people to do. That everybody wants to make a series today. Just know that if you see a series on a streamer, in fact, I was just telling my friend, I watched a series on PBS recently, Around the World in 80 Days. It's probably the biggest budget thing PBS has ever done. It was beautifully done. $3 million an episode. That is nothing compared to Hollywood. Nothing. So, as we as independent producers, how do we compete with $3 million an episode? Right? We can't. So, it's just not a business model that I really recommend. And I don't know how to sell it.
I'm going to touch on that a little bit, just a little bit. I haven't done a series, but I'm looking to do one. I know my wife has one written, I'm looking to do one. And by the time you see me on the panel next year, I'll show you how to get that money with some series. I'm not, don't let no doors close on y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what Tressa just showed me with this Tubi thing, I'm about to go stupid with that. And I'm telling you, I'm being honest. It's a platform where it's already free to get consumed. You know what I'm saying? I done made money on the platform where now you had to pay. So you gonna give me something I can have my people access and it's free? Y'all fucked up. Y'all show me how to get this money. Now I'm gonna show you. All right, when I talk to Trust, I'm gonna see exactly how I go. All right, they do movies, and they do, all right, 1 hour plus 1 hour episode series, and there'll be 8 movies. But now you watch that, you gotta go see the next one. 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 You know what I mean? Be creative. Be creative. You already creative if you're making a movie. Be creative on how you gonna get this money. You know what I'm saying? Use that. You know what I mean? And understand business. And when you see these little jewels being dropped, pick them up. You know what I'm saying? And use that. And spend that and figure out how to make that work for you, whether it's a movie, whether it's a feature film, whether it's a short film, whether it's a series. Who get money? That's my thing. Who get money doing short films? How do they get that money? Okay, study that. I know how to work my people. You know what I'm saying? Same way how you know it's a hot club going on. It's Tycoon Weekend in Houston for 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? They promote it through them social media networks. And that's how they get it. 5,000, 10,000 people to come down for a weekend. The same way you use to promote to get you 10,000 people to go watch your film. You know what I'm saying? Your partner got a little business that's popping. Pull up, support his business. Hey, make sure you mention in your story I was out here. Make sure you mention my movie came out. You know what I'm saying? Do this, do that. You know what I mean? Use what you got. Start there with what you got. And then figure it out.
Rich, you just said something that made me think about something we should share. When you mentioned 50 Cent, you remember when he used to make movies for like $25,000 back then? Yeah. They were pretty horrible. But he believed in himself so hard, and he was like, I'm going to make this movie, I'm going to figure out how to monetize it, and then eventually people saw, oh, this guy's serious, he's not going to stop. And then the movie started getting better, the budgets got bigger, so never be afraid of it, you know, and just to piggyback on the last part about the episodic, on Tubi right now, there are about 4 projects that I personally have seen. They're not under my deal, but they're under somebody else's deal. I watched one of the series and I was like, what? What are they talking about? What is happening? But it is one of the top series on Tubi. And they are making about $60,000, $70,000 every week. And I looked at it like, what? There are no rules.
Right.
There are
Just
no
get
rules.
hot.
Yeah.
Just get hot. That's what you want. The best advice y'all want to know how to get the bag. I'm gonna give it to y'all one sentence right now. Get hot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's when it gets it. That's like what's the boys that had? I can't think of their name. They had before was I was thinking about anything like TV, anything. The title was trying to give them a deal. They would run around and shoot. They what's the name on their iPhone?
Money and violence.
What was it?
Money and violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Money, they got hot, they started trying to get all kinds of deals. And they was running around shooting. You seen it. You know what I mean? Shooting that on their iPhone. But they got hot.
It's the people that's willing to put in the work into the $5, right? And a lot of times, even for me, when I'll go into a room and talk about a project, they are looking at me like, who are you? Where did you come from? And how are you doing this, right? And we don't give any long stories about how it's done, but it's summed up to we were relentless with it. We said we're not going by the rules, we're going to defy the odds, and you have to at least give it a shot. Even if it does not work out for you, you can't win if you don't try to win. And if you listen to the people telling you that you cannot do it, you're going to be messed up. So you got to do it. You got to do it.
Don't listen to them.
Oh, I meant to leave you with one other thing, and this is just a financial tip. So I own the rights to all of my movies. No networks, they don't own them. Even if I do a deal with a network, the deal is structured in a way where I still own my movie. Now, obviously, they're not going to give that deal to just anybody, but once you prove yourself, you can get those kinds of deals. At the end of the day, my children and their children, these movies will live on forever and ever, and they will have catalogs the same way as you think about singers, whether, who are some singers that have catalogs? Prince, Michael Jackson. These people own this content, and the stuff lives on forever. So the only way you can get to that kind of bag, where you're making $300,000-$400,000 a year off of each movie, is if you say, I got to do everything that I can to make this happen. I'm not going to let anybody stop me. It's a mindset. So you got to really say, that's what I want, and that's what I'm going to do to get to that type of bag.
Okay, we got one last question. We had took a light from earlier, so
Hey, not to cut you off, bro. Did you get to ask me a question for you on me? I seen you ask your arm for a while. No, once he done before, can we get
okay, bet, you're right.
Okay, how you doing? Darren Scott, owner of Glass House Films Music Group, screenwriter. So the question I have, you pretty much asked. I was going to ask you guys for Tubi TV. I see Tubi TV produced and financed their first film, which is War of the World Annihilation. Are they in the making of doing like first features, not first features, but first look deals and overall deals as well?
Yeah, I have one with them. So my Tubi deal is two parts. One part is the distribution side where I can upload films to them that come straight through my deal. That's pretty much what I do with Rich. But then the other side is that I do originals for them where they say, hey, I have to approve the script.
Right.
Tell me the talent. But then they give you the money.
Right.
So that is that deal. But those are not just deals that they give you gotta be able to do value. They're like, nah, I need you to go do these 10 movies right quick.
Right.
So they're gonna go for the production companies that have, the track record to doing it. But if you have scripts, obviously we accept scripts. It goes back to Kanae, she's our 2D rep. And we don't take full scripts in the beginning, we only take raw line and synopsis to make sure it's making sense. Yeah, after that we ask for a treatment. If the treatment flies, then now you're in the zone up. Now we're like, okay, by the time we ask you for a script, we pretty much are really looking to see, is this a movie we're getting ready to make?
Right. And one last question, do you guys actually purchase the entire feature film that's already produced, or is it just strictly
Yeah, we do that as well.
with acquisition?
So yeah. So if anybody who wants to submit something to us, if you see Kanae when this is over, she'll get your email address and she'll give you ours, and then you can email us, and then we can. So the first step is really, if it's a script, it's screening it. Send us a password protected screener. We'll look at it and say, okay, this is what.
Pitch decks as well, right?
Yeah, we look at those as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And just one other thing. The pitch decks, don't put anybody unrealistic on it. Don't tell us you won't get Denzel if you don't know Denzel. Right? So sometimes I open a deck like that. What is that guy?
My name is Danny Drummer. I came from Oakland, California. I'm a director, producer, film scorer of Black Daddy the movie, which is screening tomorrow at noon. That's a tough spot, so I need some folks to come out and watch that at the Overtime Performance Center. My question is, so my film is a docu-musical, and I want to know what are some steps that y'all may take in taking your film to like another realm. Like I want to make my film a production because I'm a musician, I'm an artist at heart, right? And so my film has a musical element. So what I'm trying to do is, so it's not just a static film that just goes on the screen and off. I'm trying to make it a whole experience. So what steps would I need to do to kind of like maybe take it from the screen onto production stages?
I think it's really more of a creative question. It's not a business question. It is, what makes sense creatively to make it hot? Because it's all about making it hot. Once you get hot, everybody's on it, right? So in that world, as a creative, because I love how you spit the resume, I'm a director, I'm this, I'm that, and that's the key. That's what you got to have to make all of that work. So you got to start getting with other creatives and saying, what can we do to change this up? And I mean, I don't necessarily have the answer because I'm operating more in the business zone nowadays. But if I were in that creative zone, I would say, okay, how can we switch this up? How can we take this footage and do something else? Or how can we go and shoot this and make it more of an experience? So, for example, I know some guys that do stage plays all the time, and they were like, "Hey, what do you think about us filming, getting a camera crew, and filming for TV our next stage play, right? That's their next level because they're like, well, this is what we normally do." And they got together, they found the guys that are going to come and film that while they're actually doing the stage play. So it's really getting some other creatives and figuring out what can we do.
Just do it. I've done a couple of those.
And to jump on that, what Tressa said, I instantly thought of stage play because I used to do stage plays. And we did like the first street stage play, you know what I mean? Where we really didn't have the scene, it was different. It was a movie on stage, you know what I'm saying? And I would recommend that to you, but I would go on a route if it's a musical, would jump into the SoundCloud rapper element, you know what I mean? Because you got some big SoundCloud rappers that'll work with independent filmmakers because they ain't quite hit that level yet. So of fame, but they have the following. You get what I'm saying? So I would, as an independent filmmaker, I may tap into that market and figure out how to tweak that. And then like Tressa said, get on the creative with that and then figure out how to bring that on as a stage production if that's the route you're trying to take.
For sure. And if anybody is interested in getting a private link or screener, if you see it, it'll make way more sense than, than a 5-minute pitch. But if you see it, it'll make sense, and I'm sure it'll blow your mind and you see what I'm saying. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Wow.
So listen, I want everybody here to give us a round of applause back.
Thank you, Marco. We appreciate it. Can y'all get Marco a hand?
Let's get the whole staff, not you,
And you know what? I think I just want to leave you with one other thing. It's always good, right, when you go to an event, you want to go talk to the panelists or the people that you think you know the most. But sometimes just like the people that are right there with you, you gotta connect with each other because you might be amongst your next director in the audience or the person that you need to DP for you, or find out what other people do. You might be looking for a writer. Like I know my man in the back, he already said he's a writer. So you're looking for a writer, you gotta connect with each other too, though. It's not just us.
I'm looking for writers.